Good morning, everybody. It's Michelle Alcorn here in Canada with Mom.
She's back home.
She's back home. We see our live audience waving. It's so good to see everybody. And I have just come back, as we know, from the most remarkable trip in Morocco. And I just want to thank all the friends and family that made that trip full of food, lots of laughs, and just an amazing journey. And we'll be sharing some more of those stories. We hope that you've been following us along on our social media and on YouTube, and just to see what's been going on. But of course, I'm going to use some of those amazing ingredients that I brought back today. And it's World Pear Day. How's that for amazing?
It is. It's wonderful. I didn't know there was one.
There was one. And the harvest time for pears, and the United States happens to be the biggest provider of pears to Canada. 75% of the pears come into our country via the United States. And this is the time of year in December that the harvest is.
Yes.
And this is why it's World Pear Day and it's World Pear Month. So we're pretty excited about using that. We were shopping yesterday at some of our favorite stores. But it's even better, I was shopping with one of my favorite people in the world. And for the first time inside of Canada, we got to shop together. So we're going to invite, yay! Jawad's here. Look at the big wave from Shinobu. And Shinobu's cooked in this kitchen before.
Yeah.
So, right?
Now it's my turn.
Now it's your turn. So we're pretty excited. And we went to one of our Moroccan stores that's here.
Yeah.
Right?
And it was like awesome. I feel like I'm in my home town, like in the home country.
Right?
Yeah.
And they had varieties of pears there. So we love going there so we can get our fresh vegetables and get things. And I think Jawad's excited to get to eat the food this time.
Yeah, not just like smell-o-vision.
That's right. Because even most times when we've cooked in Morocco, I shouldn't say I haven't been the one cooking. It was your mom and your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is food you normally eat. So today we're gonna infuse a little bit of Canada and Morocco and have some great dishes. So let's talk about that menu. And we're gonna give you some pear information as we go. But we're using 3 different types of pears today. And the most popular is a Bartlett pear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And we know that it's the most popular in the world. That's this guy here. And that's the Bartlett pear. And this one is called a Bosc pear. And the funny thing is, it's like they get shorter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Well, a lot of dots.
And a lot of dots. And this one is called a Bosc, and it's a little taller.
Yeah.
And this one actually is the one that's the most ripe.
Yes.
So you can feel the softness in it.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
ones were a little greener.
Maybe they call it boss because he plays basketball.
He's tall enough to play basketball. I like that one, the tall guy. So we've got some different types of pears cut up, but we're going to be making some pear tarts. And I must say, being in Morocco over the last few weeks, the incredible sweets, the care that goes into making these, how beautiful they are
Yeah.
when you walk by. So I'm a little inspired by that. So we've got some puff pastry here that's all ready to go. And it's the puff pastry sheets. And again, we picked those up at the Rabia store. So these are actually wonderfully imported for here. And we've got the flat sheets out on a piece of parchment. And I'm going to get those into the oven because we want to bake these so the pastry gets baked. And then we're going to stuff them with some fried pears. So right now I've got them on like I said, the parchment. I did put a little bit of olive oil across the bottom so that they definitely are going to be easy to remove.
Yeah.
My oven's at 400 Fahrenheit. And it's funny because we've been having baking discussions, right? So we're going to get those in. I'm sorry? Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll put the pears on partway through. Good question. Mom was saying, are you going to cook them before you put the pears on?
No.
Because puff pastry is delicate. We're going to let that pastry cook about 75% through. And then we're going to add the pears for the last bit. Well, we're cooking the pears. So we're gonna get those into a frying pan, which we're just getting warmed up. As we always say here in Atlantic Canada Cooks, remember to warm your frying pan up first. Thank you. Look at this. I've got 2 helpers. A big chunk of that butter in that pan. And once the butter's melted, we're going to add the pears to the pan. So for fun, I decided this one's going to have all 3 types of pears we're going to use in this particular recipe. So it's going to have a couple of different textures because some of the pears are a little harder. I've cut the pears into slices, kind of like you would slice an apple. So I'm going to give these to Mom, and she's going to be able to get those fried up. We've got, oh, she's got her bowl too. Perfect. We've got 2 bowls of pears, extra helpers.
Sure.
So while that recipe is getting started, so Mom's going to fry the pears in some butter. Michelle's going to throw cinnamon around the kitchen. Beautiful cinnamon sticks. I brought these from Morocco with me, and I love it because cinnamon is very healthy.
Yeah.
And it's cold season. So if Michelle sounds a little stuffy, I'm just getting over my Moroccan cold. But it is the season around the world. So we want to encourage people is to get some of these natural ingredients into your diet because they boost your immune system.
Yeah.
So we're going to be using all these wonderful pans,
Cold.
right?
Yeah.
Do you want to put? Yeah. So we're going to just put that in a cold pan. No. Okay. So I'm going to give Mom 2 cinnamon sticks to throw in there. And Mom, if you want to crunch them just in half once. So that's going to start to infuse the flavor. But of course, I'm back in Canada. So Michelle's going to add some maple syrup. But we need the pears and the cinnamon to cook down just a little bit and get soft. And we're going to add the maple at the end. Because if I put the maple in now, it's going to cook the maple away a bit. And we want to keep the syrup.
Yeah.
So that one we'll be adding in a few minutes. So Jawad, the other recipe we're going to do is a savory recipe. So I need some olive oil. Does this look familiar?
A lot. To me, it's a lot.
Tell them why this looks familiar.
Because my mom's family produce olive oil, and these bottles we do have a lot in my home, like in Morocco. So that's why she said familiar. Yeah. And you brought it from Morocco, actually.
Your mom and I bought it together.
Oh yeah.
So we even went shopping together, and I bought the identical bottle.
Just to put the
Yeah, and we keep refilling it.
yeah.
So this recipe is on a savory side. So we're not going to fully bake this one because we're going to have it with our meal a little later.
Yeah.
So many recipes you can prepare ahead in the morning like we are. And then later we can add those in. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
For
it's
evenings, yeah.
and it's evening and ready. So
Yeah.
you'll see supper tonight. It'll be like,
Oh.
whoa, that was easy. So this is what our focus is going to be.
Yep.
What I like about this particular recipe is it infuses a few different things together. So Jawad, I'm going to get you to take the knife and peel some of that garlic. So nice fresh ginger. Can you smell it? I wish we could. We got to get that smell-o-vision.
Wow.
The wonderful thing about fresh ginger, similar to cinnamon, ginger has a lot of healing properties and it boosts your immune system. So I hope we inspire you today is add just these fresh ingredients to your daily cooking, and it will help you through those cold seasons to get some more health and wellness in there.
Is this smelling good?
So smelling good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mom's already get this because she's get the cinnamon
Yeah.
hits the heat,
I can't tell.
right? And
Yeah.
it's going to be over here soon. It's going to make it to us.
So keep it.
No, you're keeping it. Mom's going to keep all the scent over there. Feel those oranges. I'm doing a sample test. We've got some beautiful oranges. I love it because these oranges are actually imported from Morocco. And we can buy those here. And there's many international stores here in New Brunswick. And I love it. I got my home is New Brunswick. hoodie on today with the reminder. We're back here. I think Lucian. Hopefully you guys brought hers or were you saying, yeah. So we've got little mini me who's got a little smaller version of this too. And I just really want to say a big welcome to Jawad and his family. And they formally mwah, 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 three.
The Moroccan way.
The Moroccan way. Are now living here in Canada. And one of our wonderful sponsors and best friends at MacArthur's Flower Shop. So if you're in Moncton, please drop by a Mountain Road and visit. And today, and thank you, Jawad welcomed me home with a beautiful point setup. And these are everywhere this time of year.
Yes, Tetouan Christmas. Yeah.
Right?
The season for poinsettia.
Well, yesterday when we were standing there, we dropped by for a visit and people were like, I need 10 poinsettias. I need 5 poinsettias.
Yeah.
Such a great way to add the brilliant red and festivity.
Some days like 25, 20, like 9 poinsettia. Yeah. We do have like 6-inch, 8-inch, and 10-inch poinsettias.
So, oh yeah,
What size
and different
also?
colors. What colors do they come in?
We do have the white poinsettias, pink and white, 3 tones, which is like white, red, pink, or purple. We do have blue poinsettias, but the famous, like in the season in Christmas, is the red poinsettia. But some people took like the white poinsettia or blue, or mixture. Yeah, and I love like the white
So the orange
with like the pink beside. When you see the leaves, like these leaves,
So this one,
it's all white, and in the middle is pink.
This
And we do have the poinsettia with 3 tones, which is like a part white, part blue or purple, and the third part is red. So yeah, and it's for Christmas.
Here we go. I'm gonna need a little piece of this.
Okay.
Love that. It's great to have 3 people.
Yeah.
We're just because we're gonna make a third recipe.
Mm-hmm.
There. I'm gonna give a little bit about figs. So I brought these from Morocco. Figs are a huge part of the diet in Morocco. You see them everywhere. They're beautiful, added into a variety of different recipes.
And delicious too, and like for the health, a lot of benefits for diabetics, for a lot of things. Yeah.
So I think we're gonna need 6. We're gonna get 1 fig per. Oh. You can eat them like this, first of all, and often are just eaten as a
Yeah.
snack. But they're wonderfully infused into many recipes.
Recipes, yeah.
And so what we're going to be doing with these are nice and soft. Some of them are even more dried.
Yep.
And I'm going to be taking these figs and putting them in with the pears and the cinnamon that Mom has going. So when we make those tarts that are in the oven,
Mhm.
we have enough to put 1 of those nice figs on top. And figs weigh a little bit. So Michelle didn't bring as many back. But you can purchase beautifully imported ones here in Moncton, New Brunswick, Halifax, Nova Scotia. But I feel extra special because I know I imported these myself and carried into the country.
Yeah.
So Mom will give the figs a little bit the middle spot. There,
Yeah.
just to get them.
And it's actually like natural, 100% natural, because it's from association, you know. Being the association in Morocco.
So speaking of that, we hope that you watched our video last week. And thank you so much to Mohammed Abarudi from Rudy Music, who helped us put the video together. And that was a combination with his brother Tofik, where I toured Ozane, the olive oil, got to see how couscous was made.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful because I think there's so much of the farming in the country is still done authentically, which is amazing. Check those buffet trees, Mom.
Yeah.
And that's where you get to know that you're seeing it fresh, directly into the processing and then directly into your hand. But we were at a beautiful souk and market, and we were able to purchase products from the north of Morocco. And we know, and as Jawad was saying, many of them are done by cooperatives. And I spoke about this in the video. And the important thing about a cooperative is that means farmers have come together to share resources. And for these ones, they're farming their own fields, but then in the processing, they're using facilities where multiple farmers are bringing their products in. And it allows people to be able to produce more and keep that high quality. So thank you, shukran, to all the farmers around the world. And so much love and care and attention goes into the food that we eat. So take time each day to think about them, because we would not be eating all these great ingredients all around the world if it wasn't for all of those farmers. Those are looking, there we go. I think good for us to add. Oh, yes. Right? Yeah. All right, Mom's got that. Mom, you want to hold that back up? Is that too hot or heavy?
Oh, I got it.
Okay. Look at this. So the puff pastries are starting to puff up. And I just hold it up. Ah, there we go. You can see how thin they are, but they still have a little bit of cooking. So now, go ahead, Mom, set that down. It's a heavy pan.
Yeah.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna add those ingredients.
Push the back burner.
Those look good,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And we can get the other tray started. So here we go. Thank you, Jawad. Smell the cinnamon,
Yeah.
right? So here we go.
I wish you could smell like the mixture of like
Sorry.
smell the cinnamon, the figs, and the pears.
Right there. So we're gonna put these exactly. And we're gonna scoop this in. The only thing we want to do is take the cinnamon sticks out.
Yep.
Because nobody wants to bite a cinnamon stick. But the rest of it, we're now gonna layer on to the puff pastries so that they're gonna be cooking together. This can start, Mom.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna get that going. We'll talk about that in a second. All right. We'll get a spoon, Jawad, there in front of you, make it a little easier to spoon these on. So the puff pastry, thank you, are halfway cooked. And now we're going to add some of the pears. Look at that. Michelle picked this lemon stick up first thing. We're going to add some of the pears in the middle of each one. And I'm going to make these look a little fun because the goal is we're going to nestle or put one of those figs right in the middle. So everybody gets a piece of fig and some nice pears. And I'm going to top, these ones are simple. I'm really just using, see the caramelization on that, Jawad?
Yeah.
Where the pears have a little brown on them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're cooking your pears, you don't want to make them mushy. We want to keep the shape of the pear. Those are going to go in there. Exactly, Mom.
And the orange.
Exactly. Perfect. Ah, love it. We're just going to pile the pears on each one. Jawad got the figs on right away. We're like, don't miss a fig. That's funny. Oh, they smell amazing.
Yeah.
Right? You know what's really nice? We've got Jawad's wife and his daughter, and they're still resting. And we're going to be able to have these for breakfast today. And it'll be a nice, healthy start to our day. See, this is the good excuse to eat sweets and treats for breakfast because we know we're putting all these great ingredients in.
Yeah.
So Mom is going to be getting some started behind us, but Mom, we need to add a bit more ginger to that one.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. It's like I measured, which I didn't. There we go. Oh, those smell so good. I'm making a mess. I'm trying to get the figs on top. There's my goal. There we have it. That looks good. Right in the middle. So another thing, when you're making pastries or you're doing anything and it's holiday season here in Canada, And I think Jawad's having fun realizing just how big the Christmas season is. And you're going to see a lot of nuts, and walnuts are my favorite. And they're one of my mom's favorite. And where's that bag around here? Oh, we're behind you. There we go. And we got those walnuts at that market as well. So those are produced in the north of Morocco. And would say if you want to get a big one out, when they're in the bag, they still have the little piece of the shell in the middle. So you know that they're that fresh. They've only taken the shell off the outside. So what we're going to be doing is I'm just going to put a couple of walnuts on the top of each one of these. So you're going to get the creaminess of the pear, and then that wonderful chewiness with the fig,
Yeah.
and then the crunch of the walnuts.
The walnuts.
So food is meant to be experienced. And when you add texture and flavor, all natural ingredients, you notice this? There's no processed sugar. The only thing is Michelle does not make puff pastry, as we know. She is not a baker. So we're going to buy that puff pastry. But I know we were speaking with Hind, and she was asking me how to use the oven differently here. So that was actually a little bit funny as well. So Mom, we're going to use some of that maple sugar.
I'm looking for the,
Syrup?
no,
You need the syrup for your recipe.
okay, and the ginger was it?
Yeah.
We
Ginger root. So hang on just a second. Under the pan. I don't think that's on it. There it is. Here we go. And you give Mom about 3 slices of that ginger.
Yep.
There we have it. So I'm going to hold this out. Wow. Those already look amazing. We do need to bake them just for a few more minutes. So this is maple sugar.
Yeah.
And I know my good friends, some of my friends' moms, hi Amal, Hilu. I've got them, they very much like their maple. So we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of that maple. And this is why I like cooking with the maple sugar. Jawad, if I added syrup, where would the syrup be right now? The syrup would go all over the pan, right?
Yeah.
So when you're able to use the maple sugar and we bake this, it's going to stick.
Oh,
See, and that's what the cooking trick is. So
I'm learning about syrup, about maple in general.
Right?
Learning still.
So that-
Yeah.
for the friends that I brought the maple sugar to, that's the really magical thing about it. So we have sprinkled the magic maple dust on top of these, and we're going to put these back in the oven for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to give those to Jawad. Watch the bottom spot.
Yep.
The oven's still on?
Yeah.
Excellent. Let's just put a timer on there.
Yeah.
Timers are your friends when you're cooking. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the pan that Mom's doing. So you can make a jam in the morning. We buy jams in beautiful jars. Wonderful people have made it. When we go to the market, you'll see this time of year, everybody here in Atlantic Canada, because it's snowing.
It's actually snowing.
Oh, it is snowing. And it's freezing outside. So when we have done our production, pears, apples, and any of our fruit, we preserve them. So we jar them, or you said like syrup, pears and syrup,
yeah.
right? So that way you can eat them in the winter season.
Yeah.
So it's a habit that we have here, because unlike Morocco, we always have fresh. Now, oranges might not be in season, but you're eating a different fruit from different areas in the country.
Double the weather.
There's nothing growing in Canada.
Apple.
Not this time of year. Oh, nothing's growing. So we're preserving everything.
Yeah.
So you can buy beautiful jams that someone has done, and we do all the time. But you can also make a fresh one. So we've got these imported pears. And what Mom has in the frying pan is she's put another bowl of pears that are sliced. And then Jawad peeled some of the fresh ginger. And we just put it into slices So the pears are cut up. And then I put the ginger in and just little slices like this, because you're not going to eat that ginger. Well, you can if you want, but it's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
But we've got it peeled in this way. So the flavor of the ginger is going to go in with the pears right now. And here's where we're going to add some maple syrup.
Yeah, I don't know.
And, oh, mom's already, my mother.
No, I haven't got maple syrup.
I know we're gonna, but you guys are awesome. She's already got. The other thing we did is we peeled an orange. So mom has put the orange. So in our pan, simple ingredients. We have pears, sliced ginger, and the slices of orange. I'm gonna get Jawad to bring that pan over and show her. Ready? There we go. Look at that. Can you smell it?
No, wait.
So it's already smelling amazing. So this needs to cook down quite a bit. So we need to add a little bit of liquid to it.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to add some orange juice, but I really want extra orange flavor. So this is a microplane, very sharp blades. The outside, this is the outside of the rind of your oranges, your lemons, your limes, any of it have probably your deepest flavor, like the richest, right, Mom? That's where my mother taught me this trick. There we go. You can see it. And now we're going to get the orange juice too, which is perfect. So that's going to go into the pan. You got a heart? Good. Now give that a stir and smell now, Jawad.
Wow. Orangey. It smells like.
And there's already oranges in the pan.
Yeah, actually, but with
Oh,
the
yeah.
skin, it
That
smells
has a strong
more.
smell.
Yeah, strong smell.
So this really heightens the flavor.
Does.
And you know, it was really fun. I was cooking with the Jawad Ecole, grade 7 and 9 students. So hello, everybody. And we were showing them how to make this with apples. And when we did this, the kids were amazed at the difference. Can you see that? That's where the rich flavor is.
Yeah.
So we're going to get that back in the pan because we want to reduce that. But while you're here, so we want some liquid because we want these to get soft because this is going to go in our toast.
Yeah.
So basically what we're doing is making a fast jam to spread in our toast. There is a few seeds. We'll get those out.
Yeah.
Michelle's not de-seeding as she goes. So that was a nice juicy orange. Okay, back on the heat. Turn that heat up. The nice thing when you're cooking fruit, you activate the natural sugars in the fruit. So your pan will get sticky and good, but there's the natural sugars and sweetness that are coming out of that. And of course, Michelle just got oranges all over, so we're going to give our hands a little wipe to get some of that stickiness off. Perfect.
You want me to put it on a plate or something?
Ah, yeah, I can put one on a plate, Mom, would be great. So those are going. Once this gets cooked down, we're going to let that cook down for about 5 minutes so it can reduce. And we actually want the pears to get really soft. And I will use the word mushy as we learn fine words. But really, we want them to be soft because we want to be able to feel like we're spreading them on the toast. So that's what's going to be going on with that. I'm looking for the flipper.
Oh, here it is, right here.
We have many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many.
We're losing kitchen utensils. Many of you, if you do not have a microplane, that's okay because you can literally use the back of a fork or your sharp knife to get the rind off of your lemon, whatever citrus you're choosing to use.
I didn't put on the white plate, showed better on a coloring plate.
Good choice, Mom. Hold that up to the camera. So Jawad, we're going to give you.
What it looks like. I just took it out of the oven.
There
It looks good and
A little higher.
oh, so it smells good too.
Does that smell amazing? So there it is. It's now got that nice crispy bottom.
Yeah.
Holly. Holly said,
Holly.
save me one. But you know what I'm going to do with this? Because you get to smell food and then you see food and you eat with your eyes. We're going to add a couple of beautiful fresh raspberries to the top of that. And this is wonderful because we're going to have these with our breakfast toast that we're going to make this morning. Oh, yeah.
Are we cooking any more in the oven?
Yes.
Okay.
This
Oh,
is
yeah,
gonna be-
right.
yeah.
We're gonna be going in.
I'm just going to show everybody
Here.
what we've got here. So we added, wow, it smells so good. So the oranges are nice. They're getting reduced down, the pears, and we added some maple syrup to that. Now, if you don't have maple syrup, honey, same recipe, and just substitute the honey for it. So we hope that here at Atlanta Canada Cooks, we inspire you to do a little bit more cooking. Have fun with your friends and your family in your kitchen, because that's really food was intent to be shared. As we say, break bread with people and enjoy that. So in that pan, we've had the ginger. We use 3 types of pears. So we're going to get a little bit variety of taste in the pears. Pears are much like apples, different, like a green apple tastes different than that red apple or the yellow ones. So that's going to add some really nice flavor to that. So the oranges, the ginger, and we've got the maple and then the orange rind in there. So, but I'm going to have a little fun because this is going to be for our toast. And we've got these beautiful, the size of these raspberries, beautiful raspberries. And I will give credit to where they're imported from. Oh, hello, Mexico. Hola. Love Mexico. So we've got Mexican. This is like a multinational dish. We're going to throw some of these raspberries in here. And you know what, with this, Jawad, we want to get that as mushy as possible. So even if you want to take, I guess it's just me here. You go ahead and throw them what you're.
Well, I just took the rest off the pan. And there they are. We should have made at least a couple of dozen because I think they'll go fast. They look delicious. Oh, they smell so good. Nice crusty pastry when you bite into that. It's all that crunchy and the softness of the fruit. Sweetness. And all natural too. All natural sweetness in there. We didn't, oh, we had little maple syrup to that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Mom's like, quality control test.
Yeah, no, I haven't done that. yet.
Jawad's behind me quality control testing the raspberries from Mexico. He gave 2 thumbs up. He's smiling.
You did a good job.
He's got your job, Mom. That's awesome. So we've got 2 kind of sweeter dishes. This one can be a dessert. It can be a breakfast. So many great pastries to have. And then the jam is still cooking down. So we need that to cook. So our final recipe is going to be a little bit of a savory recipe. And during the holiday season here in Canada, we do a lot of cooking of the sweet potatoes. So what I've done is I've taken the sweet potatoes and I've cut them into sizes, a little bit bigger than your finger. And always a good cooking tip to try to cut them evenly so that they cook evenly. So we have these in this dish and we're going to build some of the flavor here to make this dish. It's a great holiday dish or to make it anytime. And again, super healthy. So I've got one of the Boss pears here, the long skinny one. And to be honest with you, this pear is probably the most ripe out of the ones that we bought. So I'm just going to gently peel the skins off. And I'll leave a little bit of skin on because these are going to be baked in the oven. There's a lot of nutrients in the skin of all fruit. So we often have a habit to peel everything. So I want to encourage you with many of your fruit, especially your apples, eat the skins because they're good for you. So I put a little olive oil in the bottom of this pan. I have my sweet potatoes. And now this pear, I'm just going to take and cut it into slices, as you see. And I'm cutting it into a little bit thinner slices because those pears will cook and they'll get really soft. And the pear will end up acting like a sauce, which is probably my favorite thing about this dish. You can use pears inside of dishes to use them to thicken and sweeten a sauce. And these pears are very delicious.
Finish chewing.
Right? Here we go. I have to feed my helpers. Try this pear.
Yummy.
Right?
I mean,
So there's another orange floating around there. If you want to throw one more orange into, or squeeze the juice in it, Mom.
oh, here.
There it is. Squeeze that juice into Jawad's dish.
Okay.
So we're going to slice this pear up. And this recipe is great because you can just slice it as I am now. They don't need to be perfect in size, but we want to make sure. And kind of like an apple, pears have a little bit of a core in the middle. And this doesn't have much of one. So there's lots of fruit on this particular one. Wow. So as you can see, we're going to mix the pears and those sweet potatoes. And this really only works with a sweet potato. I wouldn't make this recipe with a regular white potato because they're much starchier and they don't have that natural sweetness. So if you see, the ratio is about 60% sweet potato, 40% pear. And when this bakes in the oven, and this is going to bake in the oven at 400 for about 40 minutes. So you can imagine that's going to bake down. So we need some extra seasoning on this. I'm going to wipe my sticky hands. So what I'm going to be adding to this, I'm going to put a little bit more of the olive oil across the top. And remember, this dish is on the savory side. So this is going to be a side. Oh, not savory with my tongue. Oh, great. This is going to be a side dish that we're going to have tonight with some beautiful beef. So we're going to put a little bit of salt. This is a really nice sea salt in my grinder. And my favorite is using peppercorns to add a nice amount of pepper across the top of that. So we're going to add some herbs. And that's another thing is getting fresh or this time of year, dried herbs. And again, this is beautiful rosemary. And you see there, I brought that in from Morocco. So, and rosemary is one of my favorite herbs. It stands up to high temperatures and it bakes well. So if I had some fresh rosemary, I would be using fresh rosemary in this, but we don't always have fresh. But please, in your pantry, in your cupboard, and I'm going to make a list. I'm going to post a separate video here soon on the top 10 things to have in your pantry. And recently when I was traveling in Morocco, I helped a friend of mine. I was renting an apartment in Cabanegro. Please go visit that place. It's incredibly beautiful. And but the apartment I was renting didn't have all the cooking stuff Michelle loved. So I went to IKEA. I love that. Went to IKEA in Morocco and I picked up a few things. And some of those things were key. Was a good frying pan. And we'll say this, some good knives. So I was able to buy this identical knife at the IKEA in Morocco. So I feel like, and some of these great cutting boards. So when you have good utensils and good frying pans, it's going to encourage you to cook more. But the other thing is a few, we call them staples or core things. And if you have some of that seasoning, you can create amazing meals. So dried rosemary and dried thyme would be two of them. And also we're going to add some garlic to this, but I'm going to use some dried garlic, which I'm now missing. That's okay. It's in my wonderful spice drawer. Some people have a spice cabinet. I have a cabinet and I have a drawer. So it's a great way to organize in your kitchen. And here we go. So we're going to add some garlic into this, and I'm not using fresh. We have fresh pears and fresh potatoes. And I'm making sure that I'm using like a granulated or a garlic seasoning. Just remember to not get the one that they mix with salt, because then you can control your salt. And I like garlic. So going back, what's garlic good for?
Oh, everything.
Everything, right? Your colds,
Yeah.
anything. And actually, garlic is really good to boost your immune system and for your muscles.
Settles your stomach.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's true, right?
Yeah.
It's good to settle your stomach. It's like even boiling ginger
Yeah.
and some cinnamon and some water.
And you take that in.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, ginger, Michelle,
Yeah.
unfortunately, when she was a little girl, got car sick a lot.
Yeah.
And I heard she was telling stories while I was away about that. We'll talk about that later, Mom. But I did. I when the motion,
When she was real, real young.
yeah, the car. So ginger is used to settle stomachs, and garlic can do the same thing.
Yeah.
But we're gonna put some garlic powder in this. And really that's as simple as the seasoning that we're gonna use. So again, staple, have some garlic powder in your world. It already looks pretty. When we talk about textures and different things, I'm also going to add some of those beautiful walnuts to this dish. And it's a different version of those baked sweet potato dishes that we've made at the
Yeah.
holidays, right?
Yeah.
We often use apples. So today we're going to use pears, which I love that idea because it gives us a fresh perspective.
What did you want to do?
Keep that cooked down. Oh, it looks beautiful. Soft.
Enough?
Yeah. Looks good. Perfect, actually. So you can put the toast down,
Okay.
put the bread down. So we're going to start with, we're going to have some of that. So I just took a couple of the walnuts out. I love this. You know how fresh those walnuts are? See, it's still the whole. What do we say, Jawad? It looks like a little grain. So maybe you get smarter when you eat walnuts. I also like baking with walnuts because they keep their firmness, but they're a little bit softer nut. So we're going to crack that open. When I crack it open, though, just remember, it's still going to have the little piece of the shell in the middle of it.
Yes.
I know, because I made a recipe when I was in Morocco, and I don't think I was paying attention, and it didn't pull all the shells out. So when I was eating, I thought, oh,
Yeah.
whoops. So we'll pull those out, and that's chopped off. And I'm going to finish this off with a little bit of maple syrup. That or that from Jawad. That's good. Perfect. So we've got our maple syrup. Again, a little bit of honey works well. And there was butter here somewhere, Mom.
Over here.
So we're just going to drizzle that. You don't need a lot. It's going to add a little bit of sweetness. And remember, the sweet potato is sweet. And this is sort of, now I'm dropping nuts in the butter. Be great flavored butter later. We're just going to put a few, what do we say, Mom? Dollops? Or
Dollops.
dollop. There's a good new word, a dollop.
Well, it's old, but it's still new.
There we go. So, of course, when that gets into the oven, that butter is going to melt down. So you see the rosemary, salt, pepper, the garlic powder, and the pears and a bit of those nuts. So this is going to go into the oven at 400 for about 45 minutes. And that's going to cook down and be absolutely wonderful to have as a side dish with whatever. So vegetarians might have this as a main dish, but we like our protein as well. So we'll cook some nice beef up to have. I particularly like beef because beef is a heavier flavor when you're eating it with this. Chicken, whatever is good. And it's a beautiful dish. So we're going to put this in the oven. We'll take pictures after to show you what that final one looks like. Get that in the oven. Ooh. Jawad's presentation of the jam is amazing. So as we wrap up today, can you pass me that loaf of bread, please, Mom? It was so wonderful to be back here in Canada. And I didn't have an opportunity to get into the farmer's market, but I did have an opportunity to take Jawad and his family on a little tour. And we went directly to Copan Bakery. Tiny little bakery, beautiful spot. And we have some beautiful sourdough bread.
Fresh.
Fresh, fresh, fresh.
Yeah.
So Mom's got it in the toaster right now.
Yeah.
So this is where we made that fresh jam.
Put the jam on.
So there we go. We can bring the pan with the jam. We're rhyming. Jawad, presentation is incredible. Milo, your son has been watching you with presentation. He's got it all piled. Look, beautifully circle with this. It'd be nice to put out on a table. We're not doing that. So here we go. And this is where we cook down the pears, ginger,
Orange,
right? And the orange rind,
rind, yeah.
a little bit of maple syrup or honey,
Juice.
and some of the juice. Exactly. And so this is cooked down and it's ready. Those are toasted. Here we go. Pan. I could put it on here, just not the plastic.
Here.
There we go. And the beautiful part about this, we're okay. It's not that hot.
Okay.
Is you can take the jam out of a jar, sure, that someone has made beautifully. But if you don't have any, this is where you get the chance to make a fresh, or it's a compote, often called that you can spread and put on your toast. So this is, I think, one of the things Jawad's always been like, do I get to taste it? Yes. Oh, and don't forget the raspberries that went in there. So this has got your combination. You can see the raspberry seeds. It smells amazing. You ready? You get the first taste.
We deliver.
We deliver. Mom's offering to deliver.
I don't. I want to eat all.
Look at a reaction from Holly on that one.
Delicious.
Absolutely delicious. Jawad's gonna share
But it's too hot.
that. Yeah, it's still pretty temperature hot.
Delicious.
So you think of the flavors. Here.
Awesome. Awesome.
Now you get to try to taste without the bread. Cool it off. It really is. Doesn't disappoint. We use the 3 different type of pears in it. And you know what happens is when your family wakes up and you're cooking this, the smell in the house. Absolutely amazing.
Wow.
So get some more fresh food. Get some fresh food in your everyday life. And when you're walking by that restaurant on the street and you hear the great music playing, and then you walk in and the good smells hit you,
with the food.
you're using, and then that beautiful food arrives to your table, and then you get to taste it. You're waking up all your senses.
Yeah.
And that is how we were intended to enjoy food.
This actually is it's cool for like the cold season too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you've got those, the ginger.
Ginger in there.
Ginger,
right?
I feel like a little bit warmer now. Like I'm sweating.
It's bringing it good. So I'm going to hold this dish up. Joy, you hold the piece of toast up. Or this.
Oh, you can.
Mom, come on around the side. Our other dish is in the oven.
Yeah.
But but we get to say
from our
from our kitchen
kitchen
to yours.
yours.
Hey. Thank you for joining us. Shinobu was like
thank you everybody.
so excited. Join us every Sunday, 9 a.m. until the beginning of this year. And in 2025, we're going to be moving it to 10 a.m. and in the morning. That's funny. With a thumbs up from here. But we look forward to you joining us. Please share your recipes or your ideas. Challenge me to cook something. I would love to be able to create some of your favorite recipes here in our kitchen. But and jump on our YouTube channel. And we're going to promise you, because I now have Jawad with me, we're going to be creating some other short cooking videos to pass on some of those great tips along to you and take the time to share with your friends and families. And when you get onto YouTube, hit that subscribe button and share it with your friends so we can share a lot more of this food